All sorts, man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, my tribe is specifically known for farming and especially cattle keeping. This song Zasetka means the cows are going to graze. So the herdsman would actually stand on a hill back in the days and whistle this song, and the cows would bring themselves to graze, literally. So I get to share this with you and of course with Baba. So let me see if you can bring some cows out to this evening.
All right.
Let's have it. Ezonteza setukaza kwata marembo yeiweke mashago netere byanganga. Ezonteza setukaza kwata marembo yeiweke mashago netere byanganga. Kumbantam tridergeransha shogo mugongo juma trederai sheka makamwenyo. Kumbantam tridergeransha shogo mugongo juma trederai sheka makamwenyo. Ezonteza setukaza kwata marembo yeiweke mashago netere byanganga. Cha mbuga nachisyoro mwitumi cha buremba nachisyora yagarama. Cha mbuga nachisyoro mwitumi cha buremba nachisyora yagarama. Ezonte netere byanganga. Ezonte netere byanganga. Ezonte netere byanganga. Ezonte netere byanganga.
No long talk. Let's just get started.
I like the way you think.
Us? Okay, great.
Oh, sorry. I'm Denise. This is Richard.
Hi.
This is Jasmine. Now we can get started.
Yes.
Right.
Wow. Oh, wow. That was so nice. I enjoyed that. I hope everybody enjoyed that as well. A big thank you to Zasetuka Gloria and to Denise Els and her team for putting that together. That was really pleasant. And with that, I'd like to say good evening and welcome everybody to tonight's event. Thank you for joining us. Our team tonight is Elevate Greatness Meets Imagining Futures. My name is Bibi Ochu, and I have the honor to be your master of ceremonies this evening. We ask, what is Elevate Greatness? Elevate Greatness is to promote others. It means to lift people up. It means to help them get from point A to point B. Imagining future starts with a vision and then setting steps, strategizing, setting goals to achieve that vision, whether it's for you individually or for you as a group collectively. So we're excited to have you join us for a night of entertainment and collaboration between Black Mentorship, Inc. and Canadian Caribbean Association of Halton. As we begin to wrap up another Black History Month event, we would like to remind you that the accomplishments, the experiences, and the challenges of the Black community from coast to coast is not only for the month of February. This is something that is ongoing throughout every month of the year. And to help us elevate greatness and to ensure that the future we imagine is inclusive for all people at the table, we will start by acknowledging the lands that we are hosting this event from. Allow me to read the land acknowledgements. Halton, as we know it today, is rich in history and modern traditions of many First Nations and the Métis. From the Anishinaabe to the Atawarandan to the Haudenosaunee and the Métis, these lands are surrounding the Great Lakes and are steeped in Indigenous history. As we gather today in these treaty lands, we have the responsibility to honor and respect the four directions: land, water, plants, animals, ancestors that walk before us, and all the wonderful elements of creation that exist. We would like to acknowledge and thank the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation for sharing their traditional territory with us. And with that, we have read that land acknowledgement, which I believe is a very important part of any program and event of this nature. So now, I'm going to call to the virtual stage, or I would like to say, pass the mic, to the president and the executive director of our host organizations, BMI and CCAH. We'll start with CCAH. So the Canadian Caribbean Association of Halton was established in 1977. The Canadian Caribbean Association of Halton is a not-for-profit charitable organization serving the residents of the Halton region. That's Oakville, Burlington, Milton, and Halton Hills. They are dedicated to promoting diversity and inclusion, to supporting cultural development, encouraging civic engagement through volunteering, and offering arts and educational programs. I noticed on the t-shirts of the last group that played, there was CCAH written on that. So I'm guessing that's from your organization, right? That was awesome. So Andrew Terrell is the president of CCAH. And now let me introduce him before he takes the mic. Andrew Terrell has been serving in the role of CCAH president since January of 2019. He is very much involved with his community and sits on the board of several NGOs to help improve diversity and inclusion, and also manage a local track and field club. Ladies and gentlemen, join me and welcome Andrew Terrell.
Well, thank you, everybody. I hope that you can hear me. Great. Thanks very much for that introduction. I especially like the fact that you started out with the land acknowledgement. And I'll tell you the reason why is that when I became president, somebody came to me and said, I believe that CCAH should start all of its events with a land acknowledgement. And I'm embarrassed to tell you what my response was, but the answer was no. And there was something about Christopher Columbus coming and discovering the islands in the Caribbean and all that. But anyway, I'm embarrassed to even tell you that. But I learned, much like other people have learned, to respect the land that we're on And we've gone further now that not only do we start all of our events with a land acknowledgement, but we also start our board meetings with a land acknowledgement. And for the first time this year, we have really endorsed collaboration. And the very first collaboration that we endorsed was with Lloyd King Elementary School that sits on the Mississauga of the New Credit First Nations. And they received all of our Black History programming. So that's a new collaboration for us. And on the theme of collaboration, and that I'm here with Black Mentorship, Inc., we collaborated with, today, for example, we gave out 180 meals to Allendale long-term care facility with the African Caribbean Council of Halton and with the IDARE program, which is up in the Milton Catholic School. We partnered with the Kevin Flynn Mental Health Foundation together with Oasis, Child and Youth, and Summit Housing on a workshop about housing and mental health for youth. And on February 10th, we collaborated with the Milton Public Library to bring the launching of Lawrence Hill's new children's novel. And we had over 11,000 students on that launch. The other thing that we did in regards to collaboration is that we made sure that this Black History Month, we touched all of the regions in Halton region. So we did a number of events in Oakville. I just told you about the Milton Public Library collaboration. We gave a food distribution to Tansley Woods, which is a long-term care facility in Burlington. And we have our Cleft Notes to Canvas program that is in Halton Hills. And it's for a number of the residents that are out in Halton Hills. So we're really endorsing the collaboration. And for the first time in Black History Month, which has been going for 26 years, we collaborated with the Halton Regional Police Service. And you'll see behind me that there's a Black History Month flag. And that flag is being flown at every single detachment in Halton, together with the Halton Police Headquarters and the Town of Oakville municipal offices. So that is big on collaboration. So on that note, I just want to add that Canadian Caribbean Association of Halton is definitely a Black-led organization. And we've had over 60 events for Black History Month in 2022. And we've touched the lives of over 100,000 residents in Halton by broadcasting our events on Cogeco, where 1 in every 4 household is a Cogeco subscriber. But I want your viewers, the viewers that are here today, to know that not only are we a Black-led organization, but we also, more importantly, endorse the community as a whole. Because the Blacks in Halton only make up 3% of the Halton residents. But those 3% and the ones of those 3% who struggle can only do well if the entire community does well. So what CCAH does is all of its programming is not limited simply to the people who look like me. It goes out to everybody. We embrace everybody, and we want the community to do well. And when the community does well, our people will do well. So on that note, I would challenge each and every one of you to get involved in your community. So go out to your hospital, Milton Public Hospital, or the Georgetown Hospital, or the Oakville Hospital, and get involved, either serve on one of their board's committee or volunteer their time. I'm involved in a Radius, which is a child and youth counseling service. I would suggest that all of you should go out and get involved in some kind of social service and use Black history as the catalyst for wanting to do that. Just as I tell people that Black history, we're not only Black in February, and that we're going to use Black history as a platform for the other 11 months out of the year, I'm challenging you to use Black history as a jump off point to get involved with your community just generally. You talked about the Oakville Renegades Track and Field Club, and yes, I'm the proud president and have been for 15 years. And I embrace all of those athletes that come and train with us. So on that, I just wanted to add that we at the Canadian Caribbean Association of Halton are really excited about two things. One I've already talked about, which is the flags. And the second one is, Kadeem, if you could pull that up, is our Community and Harmony Garden. Here is what it's going to look like. We're going to have an opening ceremony in May, and you'll see that it is called the Canadian Caribbean Association of Halton Community and Harmony Garden. And what it really is a place where people can come and congregate and enjoy the outdoors. You'll see on the left there is a series of garden plots that we are going to give free to families who have children that want to experience the outdoors, and perhaps they don't have an opportunity to do that in the residential situation that they're in. Seniors who have downsized, perhaps they've downsized and they're missing planting flowers and whatnot. You'll see that there's 3 around where it says numbers 2 and 1. There are 3 beds there, and those are for seniors who are in wheelchairs. And there's a special surface there, and the garden beds are raised so they don't have to leave their wheelchairs in order to do any gardening. So I just wanted to let people know that this is coming on stream. And the garden plots, there's usually a rental fee for those garden plots, but it will be entirely free. What I'm most excited about is you'll see where the number 13 there is. That is a gathering circle. We're going to have a day camp for 30 children, and it's going to be for 8 weeks. And during those 8 weeks, those children are going to get cooking lessons from chefs that we have engaged. They will also be getting dancing lessons. They'll be getting artist lessons. They will be getting a number of steel pan lessons, and they will then be going and doing concerts out in their community. They will be getting ceramic lessons and pottery lessons and swimming, and every week they're going to be going to a field trip. So they're going to be going out to a conservation area, and at the end of every week, their parents will come to pick them up, and we'll give them an empty box, and they will be going market style to different stalls, and they can fill that box up with groceries that will be entirely free, courtesy of Food for Life, Halton Food for Life. And usually a program like this, parents, as we know, run somewhere between $250 and $300 a week. But for the families, those people who cannot afford it will be given admission and registration for the 8 weeks free. So the CCAH is here to uplift the community. The CCAH is here to collaborate with other groups. And that number 13 will be a place where students, the people who are at, the kids who are at our day camp will be able to learn about Black history, Indigenous history, and there will also be Indigenous plantings, and there will also be a permanent installation recognizing the children who went away to residential schools and did not return. So we're really excited about that. I don't want to take up any more of your time, but I want to let you know that CCAH is here to uplift not only our people, but the entire community. We're here to uplift people who struggle. And I'm just going to end by telling you about a special event that we're having on Sunday, February the 27th, in the theme of collaboration and in the theme of uplifting the community. During the pandemic, what we've been told is that it's really difficult to get these rapid antigen tests. So the CCAH has partnered with the provincial government, and we have, on February the 27th, we will be giving away 1,000 of these. All you have to do is drive up to Queen Elizabeth Park, Community and Cultural Center, 2302 Bridge Road, and each family will get 2. And if you wink at me the right way, perhaps I'll even give you 3. For those of you who can't make it, my email address is andrew@ccah.ca. Just email me and I will make sure that they get delivered to your home. So on that note, thank you very, very much, everybody. This is going to be a great evening full with entertainment and information. And I just want to leave you with this. Jesse Jackson, when he was running for the presidential nomination, would close most of his speeches by saying, red, yellow, black, and white. We are all precious in God's sight. Embrace your community. Get out there. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, amazing, amazing. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one clapping to this, right? This is absolutely wonderful. Thank you, Andrew, for that speech. And just to touch on a few things that you said, I was at an event late last year in December where I was also the master of ceremonies, and the keynote speaker said, she's a woman who lives in Brampton. She has a food bank. I think it's called Bethel Food Bank out there in Brampton. And she said, you know what? If you do not have a seat at the table of decision making, you do not have a voice. And she said that at her food bank, they serve food that caters to African and Caribbean people. It's not all canned tuna and canned soup, you know? So it's very important to get involved. That way you can have a voice. That way you can speak up for the people that you represent. Collaboration, like you said, Andrew, that is awesome. I know I have a couple of questions about this, the garden at QEP, but we'll leave that to the Q&A section. Other people I'm sure have questions, but thank you, Andrew, for what you and CCAH are doing. That's wonderful. And so I would like to introduce the Black Mentorship Incorporated. So BMI is dedicated to the empowerment of Black professionals in Canada. BMI fosters leadership by connecting Black youths, professionals, and entrepreneurs at different stages of professional growth with industry experts through a unique mentoring program. BMI exists to elevate the professional advancements through mentorship, education, and skills building that is building a better and more equitable workforce. Evangeline Chima is a mother, a wife, and the founder and executive director of BMI Inc. Her dream is to see Black people represented in leadership positions, treated fairly in the workplace and in our communities, and above all else, to be elevated in both their personal and professional work. Ladies and gentlemen, join me tonight to welcome Evangeline Chima.
Thank you so much, Bibi. I really appreciate that. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for what is Black Mentorship Inc. 2022 Black History Month finale. I know, Andrew, well spoken, wow. And I know you still have lots and lots of activities lined up, but this officially will be the final of our Black History Month celebration. We are so happy that we are collaborating with the Canadian Caribbean Association of Halting. And Andrew, once again, thank you to you and your team for working with us to make this event a reality. These past few weeks have been a journey for our fantastic team and for me, organizing and putting these events together. We've hosted 4 events, including this one, collaborating with our local organizations, Sheridan College, the Halton Regional Police Services, and today with CCAH. We had over 25 powerful speakers across Canada and from our sister country, United States. We had Canadian artists grace our stage, like today. We've seen over 400 registrations and over 5,500 impressions just this month alone on our LinkedIn page. The numbers are the same across our social media pages. And we are able to impact this number of people this month and hopefully beyond because of your support. We hope you know more about Black people, about our contributions through our history because of these carefully created events. Our focus at BMI is to build an exceptional community that allows people from diverse backgrounds to thrive by providing access to information, skills, tools, and support to enable Black professionals and those from minority communities to reach their full potential, whatever that is, and be recognized in the face of a broader community. The Black community continues to be held back with negative narratives that have long since been told about us by the media and by society. As we struggle to affirm Black Lives Matter, our pain and vulnerability continue to be center stage. We are hoping our struggles are too. Just before our kickoff on February 3rd, I received an email, and I'll tell you the content. The email read, "Hi, Evangeline. I am white. I want to check if it is appropriate for me to attend any of these events. I want to learn, but not at the expense of you or anyone involved." And I quickly responded, "Of course, please join us. In fact, it will be an honor to have you." Now imagine if Black people are given the same equal opportunity to learn, treated fairly in the justice system, and be recognized for our efforts. BMI is here to allow you to learn and grow without fear of being judged. BMI is created to offer Black professionals a safe space where they are supported, encouraged, and provided with skills so that the sky truly becomes within reach. These are crucial times. Fighting systemic racism requires everyone to put in the work to be anti-racist. To effectively defeat the racism that is embedded as standard practices in organizations, education system, and law enforcement, we all must continue working towards equity for all races, working hard to undo the stories that we have been told that we have in our minds and in our communities. The famous Honorable late John Lewis, in his own words, said, "Get in good trouble, necessary trouble." So wherever you are, however you can, no action is too small. All of us must be ready to contribute to changing the narrative. So together, we live a more unified world for the generations to come. I want to take this opportunity to really thank all of you for being a part of our celebration. We hope you continue to support our work. And I really want you to remember, Andrew will say, I'm not only Black in February. So I want you to remember that Black history is 365 days in a year. Please continue to elevate Black voices, continue to help support our work and our efforts for all people to have fair opportunities to, speak on the decision table. We really appreciate your efforts and your support. Thank you. Before I hand over to our MC, we received an email from the Honorable Minister of National Defense Canada and Oakville Member of Parliament, Anita Arnard. Unfortunately, she won't be able to join us this evening. She had to return urgently to Ottawa regarding the situation in Ukraine. So we put them in our prayers, and we put her and our government in our prayers as they make tough decisions that in one way or the other may impact us. Please, if you have a question for her, we encourage you that you enter it in the QA below or in the chat, and we will make all efforts to ensure it gets to her. And as well, we will try our possible best to provide response, perhaps via our blog. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Bibi.
Wow, amazing. It's just getting better and better. Aren't you glad you are on this event tonight? Thank you so much, Evangeline. Those were powerful words. Very, very well said. And I think in the whole course of Black History Month and Black organizations and NGOs and all whatnot, like Andrew said, Evangeline, you echo the same thing. We are spearheading a course, speaking up for the Black people, for the Caribbeans, for the minority people, but it's not just for us. I think I was really touched at that email you received, Evangeline. I mean, I almost teared up and I thought to myself, you know what? Everybody has to get on this train. It's not just for you and I who bear the same shade of color skin. It's for everybody who wants to come in and build, and imagine a great future together where every single person is advocated for. So thank you for that. And now moving forward with tonight's event, I would like to introduce Chef Romain Newell. Now, just saying chef, because I really haven't eaten today. Yeah, so that's making me hungry, chef. Yeah, you got to do something about that. But anyways, he's a Jamaican-born chef whose culinary career started out a bit unorthodox compared to most chefs. His kitchen lessons began in a corporate setting at 16 years old, where he worked his way up the food chain, going from a dishwasher to a part-time line cook to a full-time cook, before enrolling in a culinary management program at Liaison College to refine his skills. From cooking competitions to plating competitions, his culinary abilities began to carve themselves out. Working at a prestigious yacht club in Toronto broadened his cultural palette, where he set his intentions to develop leadership skills in the kitchen and move on to management. Since then, his culinary management skills have taken him all over the world, from Asian cuisine to managing prestigious resorts. Today, Chef Romain is head chef and founder of Access Gourmet, a personalized chef service where food and experience marinate together. Ladies and gentlemen, join me tonight and welcome Chef Romaine.
Thank you so much, BB. I just want to thank BMI. I want to thank CCAH for having me here tonight. Very powerful words from Andrew, very powerful word from Angeline. I think it is such an important moment in our history to be able to see the Black people at the forefront of the battle and the pinnacle of our different sectors, to be able to really push the envelope and to move us forward. So very amazing words. I just want to thank you guys. I want to spend a lot of my time today, as I was thinking over the last week, what message I really wanted to kind of deliver here today. The message that I wanted to deliver was just an aspiration to greatness, and an aspiration to greatness for the Black community, for a young man that grew up in a world very, very far from what it looks like in Canada today. To have a dream of a better opportunity and a better lifestyle is something that I think goes undiscussed, not enough. So my journey is a journey of one that really just is impactful of that idea. And I just want to start out by saying that it's important. I have a 5-year-old brother who I believe I have to carve out a path for in the future. So it's important for me to be able to establish a legacy, not just in what I do as a creative and what I do as a business owner, but more so as what he can see as a blueprint for success. I think there's not enough discussions in our community of someone who can look across from them and see someone who looks like them, or someone who has the same background, or someone who comes from the same world as them, to be able to push that envelope in order to be able to strive for where we need to get to. So for me, as I went through my career, a young chef, being able to travel the world, I was in a lot of places where there wasn't a lot of people that looked like me. So it was very hard to find a blueprint to say, okay, who's going to be a mentor figure? Who's going to be someone that I can go to and be able to acquire information from? And at a young age, I turned around and realized that was going to be a responsibility that I had to take. And it was not necessarily something that was the easiest notion to be able to understand and grasp, because with that comes responsibility. You have to be able to walk a certain way. You have to be able to create business and be able to go out and collaborate and hopefully be able to lay a blueprint and a foundation for individuals within the community. So as I made my way through my career, I got an opportunity to be able to run some amazing resorts. I got an opportunity to travel across the world. I came back home to Toronto. And one of the things that I really looked around and wanted to make an impact as I established my corporation and as I looked to be able to build Access Gourmet was, can we go out and within the arts community, create a forum and a platform where we can not only give opportunities to different chefs, not only be able to give our skill sets and our talents back to the community, but also be able to lay down foundation of highlighting different creators. Some of the things that we're working on for the next year or so is we want to create a recurring arts event, showcasing some of the local creators within the food space, within the fashion space, within the art space, because as we all know, there is a plethora of skill sets within our community. There's a plethora of young, talented individuals that don't necessarily have a stage or a platform. CCAH has done a wonderful job just working with them in my short time being home, of being able to create that platform. And I'll continue to work with them over the years. And I hope that Access Gourmet can have the opportunity to build the stage and build that platform to be able to foster young creators. BMI is, I think, someone who's going to be a group that's going to be impactful in that space in the next years to come within the Halton region. So as not just a chef, but not just a small business owner, for me, it's so important to create, as I mentioned earlier, a foundation, a blueprint to greatness. We have to lay a foundation in where we're at right now in such an incremental time, not just to ask for a seat at the table, but I think we all know and understand the value of creating our own table and creating our own dynamics in order to be able to be a pioneer in there. So some of the things that we built just in a short time that we've been home, as Bibi mentioned, we have a very luxury food service that we've established. We've been able to essentially find a niche market within the luxury field, but also be able to showcase that as a chef from the Black community, we don't just cook Jamaican food. We don't just cook African food. We can do it too, but we have a lot of tricks in the bag as well. So some of those things we're very, very proud of. Within that space, we've hosted 2 art events as well. As I mentioned, those are things that we're going to continue to strive to collaborate with and put and host, because we believe that there's value in that art and culture space. Some of the things that we've worked on as well, we're creating a small TV series and a small podcast series. And again, an opportunity to be able to sit down just in the same forum that we have here and discuss with creators. I've got an opportunity to sit down with fashion designers, motivational speakers, women chefs that are doing amazing things, and they're all from the Black community. And again, just giving a voice and giving a platform and creating a network to be able to voice those things and be able to showcase and highlight those different things, up and comers, established people in our community. And I think as we continue to build these things, we'll find out that we can just do great things, and there's going to be a plenty of Black creators, plenty of Black entrepreneurs and small business owners that are really going to take the forefront and pick up the mantle when we're all done making our statement. So Kadeem has some slides here. We just want to showcase some of the things that we've worked on in the last little bit. Here is just essentially one of our showcases that we had in home. We brought some of our high value clients together, and we were doing essentially an in-depth showcase. Yeah, we can keep going, Kadeem. Perfect. This is our actual our first flyer for our network show that we've put together. We call this essentially a connoisseur's corner, and what this is essentially just a one-on-one conversation with a chef, an intimate chef. This is Miss Anna Goodman, one of our motivational speakers that we had on. And again, this is just a very intimate setting, but we wanted to again be able to highlight some of the creators in our field and highlight some of the people doing amazing things as best we can. And just some working some of our events here. It's to knowing where we started from as a young chef, as Bibi mentioned, as a 16-year-old who just really had an idea of something that they wanted to create, to being able to be here today, to be able to have a business where I can create these functions and create these events and create these experiences. Again, it's impactful because it's going to be able to, for me to be able to lend that information to the next generation and show them that something like this can be dreamt and built, and that greatness can be there. So as we continue to go, these are just some of our showcase pieces. That's some of the things that we've worked on and we'll continue to build. We were a part of we were very, very close to being able to be a part of the Top Chef Canada that the previous season. So these are some of the things that we're just we'll continue to build on and continue to work with over the next little while. So as I said, I want to thank CCAH again. I want to thank BMI for the opportunity to be here today. And I just want to end off by I think Andrew had an amazing quote there. One of my favorite quotes is "Destiny is obligated by universal law to concede to demands of unwavering faith." So just believing and continue to have a goal and have a dream. Thank you, guys.
Wow. Okay. Good gracious. My mind is still on all those. Wow. Chef Romain, I don't like to cook. So I think I'm going to have to tap into this Access Gourmet. Definitely. My goodness. Like some just looking dishes. They look so, so good. And you know, when you talk about a chef from Jamaica, what instantly comes to mind is oxtail and peas. You know, so the fact that you're actually able to go like beyond that cultural Jamaican cuisine to create, you know, dishes from like all over the world, that is phenomenal, phenomenal. I love one word that you could, you know, you said over and over, and that is blueprint. Creating a blueprint, you know, for other chefs, young and upcoming, to follow, to pursue, you know, so that as they, you know, learn from you, listen to you, and observe you, they can have something to build up on. And that's just what it is, you know, creating a pathway, blazing a trail for the future. And I was also thinking of Anthony Bourdain, God bless his soul, Stanley Tucci, traveling Italy, and Romain Noel, traveling the world to cook, to eat.
We'll add our name to the catalog for sure.
That's great. That's great. Let us know when your show is up and running. I'm sure, you know, a whole host of us will be, you know, more than happy to watch. That's great. And so to take us further in tonight's event, we're just going to pause for some entertainment. You know, there's a lot to digest from all the speakers, from Andrew, from Evangeline, from Romain. So now let's invite Gloria, Gift Nanduka, and Barbarinda Williams to entertain us some more. Thank you.
We've been quite a bit around Africa, so we're going to go back to the West, where my partner here comes from, Nigeria. He is of the Yoruba people, and the song we are singing is actually in celebration of the Yam Festival. Am I correct?
Yeah.
And what is the title of the song?
It's called Oluwakuishe. That is, we thank you, God, for doing such miraculous things, you know, in our midst, because planting things and then growing and harvesting them, it's a big deal.
So you know what is funny, because we also have the folk music that I grew up listening to. We do the harvest songs. We do the birth of twins. We have to celebrate that. So Thanksgiving, just like we do have Thanksgiving here.
Yep.
So we do turkey here. You do yam.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, we do. In West Africa or Nigeria, we do yam. And because for us, your potato in Canada is yam in West Africa. And if you have yams, you wouldn't go hungry. So
come on.
This song is about thanking God for bringing us a great harvest. Okay?
All right.
Yeah, it's a wonderful song.
Well, let's enjoy it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Olu ṣe wo. Ah, oh yeah, Olúwa mà ṣe wo. Olúwa mà ṣe wo. Bàbá kú iṣẹ́ rẹ̀. Ah, oh yeah, Olúwa mà ṣe wo. Ayé mi mà sún wọn, Ẹlẹ́dàá mà ṣe wo. Ah, oh yeah, Olúwa mà ṣe wo. Olúwa mà ṣe wo, Ẹlẹ́dàá mà ṣe wo. Ah, oh yeah, Olúwa mà ṣe wo, Bàbá kú iṣẹ́ rẹ̀. Ah, oh yeah, Olúwa mà ṣe wo. Ah, oh yeah, Olúwa mà ṣe wo. Oh yeah, Olúwa mà ṣe wo.
Okay, so thank you for that. I think, those of us who are from Africa, Nigeria to be precise, can possibly resonate with the Yam Festival. It's celebrated all across the country. I think different cultural groups have their own way of celebrating the Yam Festival. So that was really good. And it definitely resonated. I love culture. Okay, so I would like to introduce Romina. Romina is the founder and managing partner of Leadership Empire, a boutique HR consultation and business leadership coaching organization. She is a seasoned HR executive with over 25 years of industry experience, ranging from the public sector, the private sector, and the not-for-profit. With a passion for entrepreneurship and a desire to support individuals to realize their potential, Romina has developed a successful practice in the areas of career and business coaching, HR transformation and strategy consultation, HR setup, investigations, and DEI practices, and much more. Romina is a change management facilitator where she engages in creative solutions through innovation, dialogue, and Lego play. As well, she has served on many HR panels, providing guidance and advice, and has also been a board member in the not-for-profit space. She was also known as one of the recognized speaker coaches for TEDx Don Mills. Ladies and gentlemen, join me tonight and welcome Romina Ratansi.
Thank you so much, Bibi, and thank you so much, BMI, CCAH, and Evangeline for the honor of joining the panel members today. when Evangeline asked me to be part of this discussion, to share my career background, I was a little bit stuck. I actually didn't know what I should share, what I could share. And so I really began to reflect on my career journey, and so many memories just started flooding back, some that were really awesome and some that weren't so good. And, 30 years of being in this industry was a long time, and I've learned so many tough lessons over those years. Being female and being a woman of color, someone who is Indian and who was born in Africa and who is a Muslim. That's a lot to swallow for a lot of people. It's a lot to accept. And my parents were hardworking immigrants. Everything they earned went to my sister and myself. And they always told us that education was important and that we needed to work hard and save money and help others and use our intellect. And as a kid, we don't really understand the magnitude of these words until we get older. And now that I have my own son, I hear myself repeating the same words my parents used. Work hard and be strong and believe in yourself and save your money and help others. So it's this voice in my head. And so I reflected on my career journey, and I realized that over 30 years, I had actually switched my career 4 times. And my journey had many ups and downs. And I also remember being disappointed in myself when I had applied for a few jobs and I didn't get those jobs. I was so disappointed. And I was actually beat out by somebody who didn't look like me. And that was, again, a really big pill for me to swallow. I also remember wanting to lead some initiatives at a company that I worked for and join some projects that they had. But I was told that I was too ambitious and that I needed to be better in something different, or I just needed to work to support that project leader and really just do all the grassroots work instead and the research. So again, another disappointment for me. And then I was also told that I didn't have the right qualifications when I wanted to engage in something different, or I didn't have the proper certifications, or perhaps even that industry knowledge to move ahead and move forward. And, that again was a knock to me. And so I also worked, throughout my career, I worked for a boss. And I don't know if anybody has ever had this feeling before, but I worked for a boss that made me want to throw up every single day. Every single day was one of the hardest lessons for me. But one of the most hard lessons, I think, was when I was laid off from a job that I absolutely love. And the world is such that I understand businesses have to make really tough decisions. But I was laid off because, and I loved my job, I was laid off because my boss really felt that my ability to build relationships and build trust didn't allow for the other members of my team to grow and develop. And so again, a knock to my system. And so I could go on and tell you about all of these disappointments that I faced throughout my career. But what I really want to tell you is that, we're all going to face disappointments. And if I hadn't had gone through those disappointments, I wouldn't have learned how to do those projects from the ground up, which today helped me in my career. And I also learned to be an integral team member who people can actually count on. And if I wasn't let go from that company, I wouldn't have learned that there were other industries out there that appreciated my background and my experience. And I wouldn't have had the courage to continuously educate myself when I was told that I wasn't qualified. And I would also have stayed in that god-awful job with that god-awful boss if I didn't have any self-respect. And so all of these experiences have led me through my career and through my journey to meet some remarkable individuals who mentored me along the way. And as I grew in my career, I had the blessing of mentoring others as well. And if it wasn't for those experiences, I wouldn't have evolved to be a respected executive in my industry, and I wouldn't have been able to build my own consulting practice today. And if it wasn't for those experiences, I wouldn't have appreciated the value of hard work, integrity, and accountability. And so what I've learned is hard work pays off. And when you fall, you only get better. And others, and when you have the opportunity to help others, take that opportunity. And when you are curious, make sure that you meet amazing people along the way and gain that knowledge through your curiosity. And most of all, when you look different, be proud, because it will lead you to be around people who will only give you strength and make you rise. That's my journey.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Oh my word. Ah, I'm about to say it's getting hot in here, but no, it's not that it's getting hot, it's getting powerful. That was amazing, Romina. Thank you for sharing that story about your career success and just the challenges that helped you out. But you know what? Those setbacks, they actually didn't set you back. They propelled you forward. Look at what it's done. And in that propelling you forward, it's enabled you to be a propelling force for other people, to help them come up, to mentor, which is exactly what we're pushing tonight. Keep on mentoring, keep on having a voice. Thank you for that story. And so now I would like to introduce, we have to switch things up a little bit. So Pam is going to speak before Goma. But let me introduce this amazing woman who has accomplished so much. Pam Damoff is a member of parliament for Oakville North Burlington. She was first elected as the member of parliament for Oakville North Burlington in 2015. Following the 2021 federal election, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau appointed Pam as a parliamentary secretary to the Minister of Public Safety. Pam has been a member of the Public Safety and National Security Committee since 2016 and is a proven advocate for criminal justice reform. She was instrumental in tabling a report on the pervasive nature of systematic racism in policing that concluded a transformative national effort is required to ensure that all Black, Indigenous, and racialized people in Canada are not subject to discrimination in our criminal justice system. And she worked with the Public Safety Committee to table Bill C-71, the Common Sense Firearms legislation. Pam previously served as Parliamentary Secretary to Indigenous Services and Health and as Vice Chair of the Status of Women Committee. A proud recipient, wow, this is awesome. A proud recipient of the Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Medal and the Paul Harris Fellow recognition from Rotary International, Pam is an advocate for active transportation and chair of the Oakville Terry Fox Run. In 2019, Ms. Damoff was instrumental in securing $150 million in federal funding in budget 2019 to support the Marathon of Hope Cancer Center Network. Join me and welcome this amazing woman, Pam Damoff.
Oh, thank you so much. My goodness, I'm actually blushing, even though my lighting is terrible and I probably still look white. But thank you so much, Bibi. And I just want to start by thanking Andrew and Evangeline. Canadian Caribbean Association of Halton, I've had a relationship with them long before I was a member of Parliament. And, when you mentioned the Queen's Diamond Jubilee Medal, Andrew's mom, Veronica, was also a recipient. And I can remember when she received that. And it was wonderful to see the steel pan drums played today, because at Christmas, I crossed something off my bucket list by learning to play, not well, and playing at the CCAH Christmas concert. And so I think my teacher was actually in that video that I saw, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, CCAH has been doing such good work here for over 4 decades. And Evangeline, I haven't known you as long as Andrew, but my goodness gracious, what a dear friend you have become. And you know, you talked about good trouble. That's a word we use in my office all the time. That we're going to stir up a little bit of good trouble, because governments move pretty slowly, as many of you know, and sometimes you need to be a little bit of a rabble rouser to actually get things done, but in a good way, right? Anyway, it is just such a pleasure to be here. I know my colleague Anita Anand is really disappointed. She was so looking forward to being here with us tonight. I wanted to just start just by talking a little bit about the Black Entrepreneurship Program that our government has started. And it's something, I think when I first met Evangeline and I came on and I talked about the need for supports for Black entrepreneurs, because there were unique challenges that were faced for Black entrepreneurs in particular. And so we needed to have a program that would support these folks. So $256 million over 4 years. And there's 3 components to it. One is a loan fund. So that's a partnership between the Government of Canada, Black-led business organizations, and several financial institutions. And it will provide loans up to $250,000 to Black-led businesses, Black-led entrepreneurs to either start up or scale up their businesses. So that funding is really important, because we know that all too often Black-led businesses are denied funding when they've gone in. So, you know, really targeting the financing piece of it. But the finance is not enough on its own. So there's also a national ecosystem fund that we've developed. So that is going to support not-for-profit Black-led organizations that offer programs that support mentorship, financial planning, business training. There was so much demand that we had over 200 applications submitted for that. So the government is currently reviewing all those applications, but we know that just giving the capital is not enough. We need to provide the supports and training. And then finally, there's the Black Entrepreneurship Knowledge Hub. If we don't have the data, we can't develop proper programs. And unfortunately, the data is sorely lacking when it comes to Black Canadians in so many aspects of our society, but in particular when it comes to business. So this knowledge hub will do research on Black entrepreneurship in Canada, and it's being led by Black-led community and business organizations. And again, the government's currently reviewing it. So Evangeline mentioned, or no, not Evangeline, it was you, Bibi. Mentioned the work I had done at the Public Safety Committee. We know that systemic racism is built into all of our systems in Canada. And I've had the extreme good fortune of meeting some incredible people who are changing lives by the work that they do. I had an amazing meeting with a gentleman who runs Liberty for Youth in Hamilton. And Frederick is diverting kids from gangs and also helping kids youth exit gangs when they've been in prison or once they're established. He's doing the kind of work that we as a government need to support. We need to be supporting organizations across the country that are doing this good work with young people. I've met I had a young man named Kwame Osei. Kwame works at Millhaven Prison, and I met him just by chance when I toured the prison, but Kwame came on Zoom. And I had him talk to my youth council about the work he's doing in the structured intervention unit. So Kwame is a football player, he's a teacher, and he also works in the prison as a teacher. So he's working with people who are in segregation, who are some of the hardest folks in prison to work with. And so I had him come to talk to my youth council, because I think we all know that we're pretty fortunate, most of us in my riding of Oakville, North Burlington. We're not exposed to people who are working in a prison, and we don't think about people who maybe haven't had the same good fortune that we've had. So I had Kwame come and talk to these kids so that they could get exposed to something beyond what they're normally exposed to. And that kind of leads me to, you know, Evangeline had asked me to talk about the importance of diversity. When we empower Black entrepreneurs, when we empower these business folks, we're ensuring those voices are at the table. We're ensuring that the Black businesses succeed, but we're also creating role models for young people so that when young people are growing up, they can look and they say, oh, I see people who look like me in these positions. I see people that look like me in business. I see people who look like me as a chef or as in positions of power. And it inspires them to be able to do more. We can't make good decisions without all the voices at the table. And for too long, that's what we've tried to do. For too long, we've had the same voices at the table, making the same decisions, and then we wonder why they don't work. Whether that talks to whether we're talking about Indigenous peoples, whether we're talking about, you know, Black Canadians, whether we're talking about women, but we don't make the right decisions. We don't gather data. I just finished reading an incredible book called Invisible Women, and it's about the data gap when it comes to women in all of our data gathering. And many of those women are often some of the poorest women in our society who don't have access to programs because their voices are not at the table. And it was really interesting because one of the things they talked about was snow plowing. And you wouldn't think that there would be a data gap when it came to snow plowing. But what they talked about was that we prioritize our roads for cars, which prioritize people who have cars and who have a job. But the last in the priority was sidewalks. And so the sidewalks are people who are taking their kids to school, they're using public transit. And so we're actually putting people who don't have advantage of a car at a disadvantage. And I thought that was just, you know, sometimes we just need to think outside the box, but we need people at the table who take the bus. We need people at the table. We need representation, because it's not only good for those individuals to be represented, it's actually good for the economy. It's good for business. It's good for every aspect of our society. And so I feel really strongly about having more diversity. I mean, I'm so blessed to be one of 338 people that sit in the House of Commons. But I also know that the House of Commons does not look like Canada. We're getting better, and I'm incredibly fortunate to work with Greg Fergus, who chairs the all-party parliamentary Black caucus. And, you know, it's people like Greg who've been leaders in Parliament to bring issues to the forefront, in fact, Greg has visited, I know, I remember one of the first times that Greg came to our riding, Andrew, you sat in my office and had a meeting with him, but wrote a letter about, you know, criminal justice. The Black entrepreneurship strategy is in place because of Greg being in Parliament. If he wasn't there, I would argue that we probably wouldn't be seeing the movement that we've made, but we still have a long way to go. So as I hear some of the speakers here today, maybe I'll plant in the back of your mind that someday maybe you should run for office. Andrew talked about getting involved in your community. Get involved in your community, but put your name forward. Put your name forward for boards. Don't look at that list and say, I'm not qualified. Actually, you are. Have someone tell you that you need to do something else, but put yourself forward, take that leap of faith. Don't be afraid to you know, put yourself out there, because even if you don't succeed, you've shown the country a side of our community that we don't always see. And just by putting your name forward, you're changing, you're changing how people view Black Canadians. So Black History Month, this is I'm always so impressed with the events that are put on this month, and they just keep getting better and bigger. And I think, Andrew, you mentioned about how it's not just for, Black Canadians that live in our region. I think one of the most important things that these events do is bring Black history and bring knowledge to everybody that lives in Halton, so that maybe we look at things a little bit differently. Maybe we think twice before we're going to say something or do something, because we have gained that knowledge through Black History Month. And I know that your organizations work 365 days a year. And it's not just for 1 month, but this is kind of like the big party, the opportunity to celebrate, but also to reflect and also to push ourselves to do better. So anyway, Evangeline, thank you for including me. And Andrew, I just, this is so wonderful to be a part of. And I'm so impressed with the speakers I've already heard. Romaine, I have a young lady that lives in my riding named Kinza Risby, who is on Junior Chef. She's an amazing chef, and I would love to connect her for one of your connoisseur challenges. So anyway, thanks so much for having me, and I'll turn it back to you, Bibi.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Pam, for everything that you said. It really, really resonated. There is a word that I often use. I use it for my kids, but I mean, it applies across board. It's participation and action put together, and you get participation, right? So like she said, when you participate, when you put your name out there, get involved, whether it's your children's school or the hospital, any organization at all within your local community, you have a voice and you have the ability to make a difference, to be represented, and that'll make, will build us up and will help in this whole diversity and inclusion that we've been talking about all tonight, which is really beautiful. That is the way to go. And we will get there one step at a time. And so now I'd like to introduce Ugoma Ekanyao. Now I have personal history with Ugoma, I gotta tell you. She and I we worked at one of the biggest radio and television stations in Eastern Nigeria. That is where we met. And she is a woman that I looked up to. Then I was a fledgling broadcaster, and she's definitely somebody I looked up to while we're in front of the mic, behind the camera. And so it is a pleasure to introduce her tonight. So Ugoma is a voiceover artist and a veteran broadcaster whose news and documentary series have been featured in various news media, such as CNN World Report and TVE. This collection of stories that she's going to share with us tonight is her effort to share the richness of African culture to a wider audience. These entertaining stories explore subjects and share life lessons that everyone can relate to and learn from. Ugoma's passion in storytelling was passed on to her by her mother, who created special moments with African stories and songs. God bless our moms, eh? She has continued this tradition with her children. It is hoped that these stories create the same joy for others as it did for Ugoma and her siblings and her children. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me and welcome Ugoma Ekanyao.
Chabi! Wa! Chabi! Wa! Over Otumbe!
Ugo, you're on mute. So you have to start again.
I will. Okay. Thank you. So I said I had to start with that. Anybody from the southeastern part of Nigeria will recognize that chant. It means it's time for a story. And as children, we loved it so much. So today I want to talk about African stories by moonlight. So basically, I know today we're talking about imagining the future, but I want to talk a little bit about using the past to imagine your future and then shape and then take the action. So going back to African folk tales, these are stories that have been told from generation to generation to generation. It was an education tool. That's how they passed information. That's how they created values. That's how they instilled values. So for us that were beneficiaries of that, it is our responsibility now to pass on the baton. If not, it's going to die on our hands. And so you now think about African folktale, like how can you use it in today's world? By and large, Africans and Blacks were storytellers anywhere we are. If you think of it, a grandmother, a grandfather, you have a question for them, they tell you a story. It's now for you to deduce the answer from that story. So makes you think, makes you imagine. So this is a gift that we have, and is a gift that has sustained our society for so long. It is an art form. There is music in it, there is dancing in it, and also it's literacy. I also, by some of the research I did, I found out that they were used to actually explain hard concepts. Why is the moon in the sky? Why is the river this way? What? And that's how they tell those stories. So for me, how did it start? My mom was a storyteller, and she was also a singer. She was gifted in that. And I was very privileged, to listen to her most nights under the moonlight, the starry night, and you're listening to stories. And I got to tell stories to the younger ones because that's also our responsibility. And then my mom, before she passed, she documented some of it because she also found out that it was going extinct. People were not telling those stories anymore. So my dad wrote the stories in a book, and I was trying to market it. It did not go well. Nobody was interested. It was self-published, and I still have copies and copies in the house. And he made all my siblings, we all had to take some and pay off the debt. And I kept wondering, I read it to my son. I have a 9-year-old son, and he loved it. Then I found out something. Maybe there's something we can do to these stories to make them more relatable and make them more relevant. I started narrating them to my children, to my nieces, and to my nephews, and it was a hit. Auntie, we want more stories. And that's how this passion was born. I researched the stories and I narrate them. Yesterday, we had a beautiful performance with the Toronto Public Library. And they had school children. It was during the school day. They had classes, grade 2 classes, grade 3 classes, join in and listen to the stories. And it was amazing for most of them. So going back to African tales, how can we use it to build our today's society? Our children, especially children of African and Black descent, it is innate in us, the images. We can use it to create values. If you were ever part of the African folk tales, even till date, there was something that happened, my husband and I, and he just said, oh, it's like the tortoise that has been in a well. And when it was time to bring him out, he started crying. And immediately I got the message, and I see that Evangeline is smiling. Immediately I got that. He didn't have to say anything else. So in addition to the education system that we have, and unfortunately is failing some of our kids, why don't we at home try to use this to bring them up, to teach them some of those tenets, value system. These stories, they always come up with a moral at the end of it. It could be honesty, it could be bravery, it could be, it could be tenaciousness, whatever it is. And whenever they want to make a decision, a life decision, it is hoped that the imagery from those stories would come to them, and then they would realize, yes, I shouldn't do this. Honesty pays. I have to be brave. I know I don't have a lot of time. And I also noticed that they put me on to talk about my life story, my success story. So I'll just say a little bit about that. Like Bibi said, I was a journalist. I loved it. And I came to Canada just like any new immigrant, and it wasn't for me for so many reasons. Number one, when you're coming in, you have that thing of you can do anything, survival jobs and all that. And I was ready to do anything. However, there was one big setback that really affected me and didn't even allow me venture near. I came in June, and that was when you have the TIFF, the Toronto International Film Festival. Right from Nigeria, I was excited. I had some of my colleagues in Canada that worked for CBC, and we produced documentaries together, and they told me about it. Coming to Canada, I applied to volunteer. They did not say, nobody got back to me. I was ready to sweep for them. And that really affected me morally. And I said, if I can't even, like, I've had documentaries that were aired on BBC, and I can't even volunteer at the TIFF. And what I did, I took everything about broadcasting that I knew and just put behind me and started going forward. However, my message today is your past can help with your future. And I want to speak to new immigrants that maybe you were a teacher where you were coming from, and you come here now, you're a banker, or vice versa. There is always a difference. You are a banker teacher, you are a teacher banker. It is not the same like somebody that is just a banker. Don't forget your past. It is an advantage that you have. And why am I saying this? I'm excited that after 20 years, I was an employment counselor. I managed an employment resource center. I worked with the Toronto District School Board. I was the manager communities of schools. I've done well for myself. However, there was something that was missing, and that was my love, which I couldn't practice here because I did not have the platform to do that. And I have found it now. As I'm writing the stories, as I'm rehearsing, as I'm recording, as I'm editing, I'm like, I can have it all. So 2 things I want to leave with is, let us try to go back to those folk tales. I'm currently working with the Toronto Public Library, the Vaughan Public Library, the London Public Library. These stories are there. Take the kids to the library. Don't let them be afraid of the library. That's where it starts. That's the foundation. And I'm trying to put the stories there so that not just our kids, everybody can see it as a literary work. And the second thing I'd like to leave our audience with is, no experience is lost. Try to find a way to fuse them together. They will surely, surely intersect. And that will make you a lot better in what you do. And it will also put you up where you want to be. Thank you so much.
Wow. Oh my goodness. That was awesome. That was awesome, Ugoma. And you are so, so right. I think almost every one of us who have African descent or Caribbean descent grew up with our parents, especially moms, you know, telling us stories and just, you know, drumming these things into our head that we can now pass on to our children today. And if we don't pass it on, if we ourselves don't know it, and if we don't share it, then it is lost with us. And we certainly don't want that to happen. That's excellent of you, Goma, to do what you're doing. Unfortunately, I missed the program yesterday night, but in next month that comes up, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to log on and join in. And so with that, we've come to the end of the speakers for tonight, but we do have Q&A. And so Evangeline, is there anything you'd like to say before we start, or can we just have anybody raise their hand and we'll call them up?
Actually, rather than thank you so much, powerful speakers tonight, many nuggets, you know, to take away as usual. I like what Ugoma said right there. And yes, Ugoma, my mom, my dad, you know, they told us lots of stories, and then proverbs, you know, they use it, you ask a question and they answer you, and you're walking around thinking, what did they just say? You know, and eventually it comes back to you, you understand it. And I think because some of those answers that they gave us when you asked that question, you know, because they told us these things in form of stories, it resonates and it stays with us longer than it would have if you had asked A and they said B, right? Yes. Amazing. And everyone here tonight, my goodness, Romina, thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being so vulnerable and open. And I can tell you, you know, a lot of people here saw a note from Habiba saying, thank you for sharing that. I don't know if Chef Romain is still here. Andrew, are you saying something? I see you're nodding your head, but we don't have a question specifically this night. But like I always say, if you have a question, send it to us. You can still send it to us via email, info@blackmentorshipinc.ca, and we will make effort to address that. But other than that, Bibi, I will hand over to you. Maybe I use this opportunity to say thank you, everybody. I'm not saying go away, do not go, because we do have music for you at the end, and we really hope you stay on to enjoy it with us. Andrew, do you have something to say, to add?
I just wanted to add to what you said. That's an amazing story in Gunma. The Canadian Caribbean Association of Halton every month has a series with the Milton Public Library where we have Black authors come and tell their stories and answer questions from the children and their parents. So we would love to have you. Consider this to be an offer. We would love to have you present your book, and we'll have somebody that will be in touch with you to get that done. So I appreciate everything that you're doing. And thank you, Evangeline, for putting this idea together. And I enjoyed working with you. And Romina, Bibi, you did an outstanding job. Romain, you and I have much more things to do, sir.
Yes, sir, we do. Yes, sir, we do.
We have unfinished business. Don't you worry. And Kadeem, thank you so much for quarterbacking this. None of this would be as smooth as it was had it not been for you. So I do appreciate you. Thank you, everybody. And enjoy what we have left, which is, I think there's one more piece of entertainment. And yeah, enjoy everything. Happy Black History Month to everybody.
Happy Black History Month. May I use this opportunity to thank all of our teams, you know, the CCAH team, Manny, Charlotte, all of you. I see a lot of the BMI board members, I think 1 or 2. Thank you. Thank you, Kadeem. Thank you, Bibi. Thank you, BMI team. You guys, woo, you rock. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Let's enjoy the music.
Yes, thanks, Evangeline and Andrew. And all the speakers tonight. You were simply amazing. I think we've taken away a lot from this. But of course, like I said, participation. We've participated in this event. Let's now go back and take action. You know, make some bold steps towards being at the table, sitting at that table where decisions are made, having a voice at that table, and just advocating for those we know that need to be advocated for. Something as simple as snow plowing the pathways. I mean, when Pam said that, I just shook my head and said, wow, you know, so that is great that some people came up with that and brought it to the table. And so if you do have any questions, like Evangeline said, just because we're kind of running out of time, almost, please feel free to connect with BMI on our different platforms, on Facebook, on Instagram, or shoot Evangeline an email, and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions. And with that, I'd like to invite again the African performer Gloria to round up tonight's event. Thank you again. I am your hostess, Bibi Wonder. God bless all.
This next song, you probably have heard it, or if you've not, we are going to the east of Africa, and this language, Swahili, is actually, used to be a military language, but for now they're starting to teach that in schools. Yeah. And the song we're singing, Malaika, which means my angel, was made famous by the late Miriam Makeba and Harry Belafonte, you know. But today we're going to make it famous by Gloria Gift Nankunda and Mr. Babarinde. All right.
And one thing again, Swahili is the lingua franca of Tanzania.
Oh, yes. And Kenya as well.
Oh.
And Kenya.
But it's English.
Absolutely. No.
Oh.
You have to. And And then, of course, English is the official language for all of us. But anyway, Malaika, this song is about my love. I love you, my angel, I love you. Malaika nakupenda malaika. And at some point in the song, he says, if I had all the money in the world, I would marry you right now. So please enjoy Malaika. Thank you. Malaika, nakupenda malaika. Malaika, nakupenda malaika. Ningekuoa maliwe. Nashindwa na mali sinawe, ningekuoa malaika. Nashindwa na mali sinawe, ningekuoa malaika. Pesa nashindua roho yangu. Pesa nashindua roho yangu. Nima nimeifanyeje? Kidaga mwenzio. Nashindwa na mali sinawe, ningekuoa malaika. Nashindwa na mali sinawe, ningekuoa malaika. Nashindwa na mali sinawe, ningekuoa malaika. Malaika, nakupenda malaika. Malaika, nakupenda malaika. Nashindwa na mali sinawe, ningekuoa malaika. Nashindwa na mali sinawe, ningekuoa malaika. Malaika, 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 nakupenda malaika. Malaika, nakupenda malaika.
Thank you so much, everyone. Please do follow us on social media pages. I'm so emotional. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Evangeline, and for putting this together. Mwah, great outing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. It was great. Very well worth it. Very well worth it. You are soaring, hon. You are going places. I know it. I see it. More wins, more wins.
Thank you. Kedim, you can stop sharing the screen so we can see everybody. Oh
And
my
Ugoma,
God.
we need to collaborate. Ugoma, we need to collaborate. Okay.
This is amazing. I believe we still have 40-something people on the line. Do we want to play more music for them? Just so.
Yes, please.
What do you want to do, Kedim? Do you want to play another number? Can play the Yam one, the Yam Festival one.
I'm a Minyankole from the western part of Uganda, and we are known for cattle keeping. Baba, did you know this?
I know that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What type of farming do you do in Nigeria?
All sorts, man.
Oh. Well, my tribe is specifically known for farming and especially cattle keeping. This song, Zasetka, means the cows are going to graze. So the herdsman would actually stand on a hill back in the days and whistle this song, and the cows would bring themselves to graze, literally. So I get to share this with you and of course with Baba. So let me see if you can bring some cows out to this evening.
All right.
Let's have it.
This is for anybody that wants to continue staying out, but we're done officially.
Ezonteza setukaza kwata marembo yeiweke mashago netere byanganga. Ezonteza setukaza kwata marembo yeiweke mashago netere byanganga. Kumbantam tridergeran shashogo mugongo juma trederai sheka makamwenyo. Kumbantam tridergeran shashogo mugongo juma trederai sheka makamwenyo. Ezonteza setukaza kwata marembo yeiweke mashago netere byanganga. Chacha mbuga nachisyoro mwitumbi chacha varemba nachisyora yagarama. Chacha mbuga nachisyoro mwitumbi chacha varemba nachisyora yagarama. Ezonte, 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 de tere byanganga. Ezonte, 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 de tere byanganga. Ezonte, 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 de tere byanganga. Ezonte, 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 de tere byanganga.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Katie. Bibi, you want to say something?
I think it's all been said. We had a great night. This is a lovely way to round out the Black History Month, though we still have a few more days in February to go. There are other events I'm sure that other associations and organizations are holding, but for us at BMI, yeah, this is a cherry on top of the cake. Bravo, Evangeline. Bravo.
Thank you. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Thanks again.
Remember, Black History is 365. Kedim? Kedim, want to say something?
All I can really say is, again, thank you all for attending, and thank you to our wonderful speakers, Ms. Evangeline, for putting it all together, and of course our wonderful MC to be the thread with the whole event, to put everything together in a way that it couldn't be put together without BB Wonder.
Oh, gracious.
It was just
my goodness,
All right, everybody. Yeah, it is so amazing. Oh God, I got emotional. I was basically bawling here, but all of our hard work paid off. Kedim, text messages. You're gonna have a break for a week.
1 week? A whole week?
Okay, for 2 days.
Okay, for 2 days. You know, all of the hard work, my goodness. The board members, I see Dr. Clement, I see Abe, you know, everybody. Taiwo is not able to join today. She hasn't been feeling well. Ingrid is not here. I think her calendar is packed, but you know, everybody, I really, really thank everybody for their work, for their support. You know, this is volunteer work. I don't get to pay nobody, but you all show up. Thank you. Thank you.
No problem at all.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'm gonna stop right now.
No,
Hi,
we don't know.
you don't want to go?
Encore,
this is
encore.
too much fun. Let's play some old school and just keep going. You know what? It's 7:50. You got 10 minutes to 8 o'clock. Let's play old school and just knock it a little bit.
I mean, I could play one more song and everybody could leave to that one.
Old school, please.
Just give me 1 second.
Do you have old school to play? I'm just reading all everybody's text messages. Good night. Yeah, good night, everyone. Thank you.
Are they saying old school? I don't have anything.
Guys, please follow us on social media pages. Please, please, please like us, subscribe to our YouTube page, you know, and donate. Yes, please donate. Also volunteer. We're so in need of volunteers, you know, to help us do this wonderful work that we're doing. But yeah, how many minutes do we have? I don't mind. I'll sit here. If you have anything, go play. Do your thing, Kedim.
I think Dr. Anyamo has requested for Malaika by Miriam Makeba.
Okay.
So if you have that, Kadeem,
yes.
I'll shelve my old school for the dark.
Yep. Let's play the Malaika one. Good night, Tolu.
Is it a live performance, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I think it's the last one. Yes, it is the last one that we played.
Sorry, the live. Oh, the last one. Oh, okay.
Yes,
that one. Got it.
Yeah, not the Yam one. The last one we played.
Yeah.
Okay.
The last one to end the event, right? That's the one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to reshare this. I stopped it. 1 second.
Good night, Africa Pavilion. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you.
Okay, here we go.
This next song, you probably have heard it, or if you've not, we are going to the east of Africa, and this language, Swahili, is actually, we used to be a military language, but for now they're starting to teach that in schools. Yeah. And the song we're singing, Malaika, which means my angel, was made famous by the late Miriam Makeba and Harry Belafonte, you know. But today we're going to make it famous by Gloria Gift Nankunda and Mr. Babarinde. All right?
And one thing again, Swahili is the lingua franca of Tanzania.
Oh, yes. And Kenya as well.
Oh.
And Kenya.
But it's English.
Absolutely. No. You have to. And then, of course, English is the official language for all of us. But anyway, Malaika, this song is about my love. I love you, my angel, I love you. Malaika nakupenda malaika. And at some point in the song, he says, if I had all the money in the world, I would marry you right now. So please enjoy Malaika. Thank you. Malaika, nakupenda malaika. Malaika, nakupenda malaika. Ningekuoa maliwe. Nashindwa na mali sinawe, ningekuoa malaika. Nashindwa na mali sinawe, ningekuoa malaika. Pesa nashindua roho yangu. Pesa nashindua roho yangu. Nima nimaifanyeje? Kidaga mwenzio nashindwa na
kuoa malaika. Nashi